Hello, hello, hello. My name is Pklixian and I return once more. So, as I'm back, might as well remove starting soon and get to map decoration. I'm going to be trying to explain what I generally do with map decoration. But first, we just got this simple test ring. Now, if you notice, I'm not using man-made cliffs because I didn't want to get man-made cliffs for this. Then I would have to look. But I think I can find something that works. Just have to raise these to find which one has a back, because I'm going to be using these quite heavily. Most likely the snow refinery one, but that doesn't have a back. 40's had a back. Apparently not. That makes it annoying. Well, I'm most certainly going to be using the snow refinery one. It's just gonna get difficult. Because my original plan was to do something like this, where it goes down and it proceeds going down, but from the other side, you just peer into the void. Now I just realized there's a solution to that, but it's not the best one. Called by putting one into itself. This does the job what I want, but it's not exactly what I would wish for. I still have to put a cap on the edge, but that's the easier part of all things. You just take one of these. And lower it a bit, and it works. There we go. Now when it comes to general, like, facility, war-torn, or wastelandish decoration styles, I go very rough and damaged. Facility, I make it super clean and whatnot, but I'm going to make this look like, well, as the name is, Snowy Defeat, so I'm going to have to look like this. There's a battle here and this place is war-torn. But I can't just easily just do that in one go. Like, I have to prepare parts. I have to line stuff up correctly. There's gonna be like broken stuff down there. For the most part, I'm gonna make it look like this is mostly in one piece. To bring forth the idea that not everywhere was just destroyed. Otherwise, I'd be doing this very roughly. Fine touches, for the better. And there we go, we got something that resembles a high ground. And just using some snow, we make it what we want. We're gonna put a crater there to make it look like damage was dealt. But that is confusing. So if you tilt it, just its shadow goes disappearing. Okay. I'm confused. I never seen something like this. But this doesn't matter. No, it does. Wonderful. This is Finn. This is not Finn. So I guess you just take the non-Finn cliff and use it for generally everywhere. They all have a shadow, goddammit. This compromises ideas. Well. We're gonna remove these. Actually, no, I keep the wall there for a reason. I don't know why I was considering removing it. I normally keep the wall up for my layout just so I can eventually put a decorative wall there. Normally I would not do that, but for this case I will. Well, since these have a shadow, that ruins my idea, so that is annoying. Give me a moment. I'm gonna quickly get a cliff for this. Normally, if I say don't want a mechanical cliff, I don't get them, but since that's annoying, I'll use one and then use other tricks to make it look war-torn. So cliff 0 is the broken cliff, yep. That's the one. Quickly just changing out the cliffs, something that's really easy to do. I mean, there's probably an easier way, but this is the quickest thing I can do. I'm not doing what I did on Axis facility where I have man-made and natural cliffs to make it look like, oh, they're still building the facility more like. In this case, I'm going to make it look like there's an actual facility because I don't have really useful dirts, really. Now with this bare bone layout, it's not the best layout I could possibly produce, but it's not a bad layout. Like, I could easily move these bases more vertical, more counterclockwise towards the other player than the player that they're right now closest to. But I don't want to because I rather have them like this. I did some edits. I connected these high grounds from the base layout, which I don't have an image of anymore, and whatnot. Actually, think about it. I want that to be a larger ramp. If it's a larger ramp, it'll help with forces getting up here. And also it looks better. And through middle, I have 2 3x ramps over 1 3x ramp for a given reason of, if I have 1 3x ramp, that's Zerg will be able to swarm, and I want general seed positions that have an advantage in a given direction, but the ability to be surrounded. Like, it's not, if there's a siege position here, you can easily go around. Here's a bit clustered though. Barely choke, like siege tank here locks off this whole area. That might be a problem. I'm surprised I didn't see that beforehand, otherwise I would push these back, but this third is already open enough, and I'm going to be splitting it and adding in some LOS blockers. Anyways, now that we got everything, I guess we should probably just do texturing. Normally I'll lay out the doodads depending on the theme. For example, this theme I would normally lay out what I want to use, but in this case I can't. Let's get a splat down at the bottom of that ramp. Actually, could we have it like this? Yes, we can. That's better. That blends in these both high grounds without an awkward transition, which is what I want. The low ground is to be desired, but I'll do better in a moment. Just we gotta first get the textures on the ramps. And then we can go around doing the fine texturing of every level. Making sure there's no like random white pocket somewhere. Of course, I will be on the middle and high grounds, be scrolling about, adding in snow to make it, and I'll have blizzard effects, just so it makes it look like, yeah, this is a very much a snowy place. That makes sense for a snowy defeat. You lost against Mother Nature. How do you feel? Alright. So general texturing what is something that is not exactly that fun to do for most part unless you enjoy texturing. I like texturing once I get it going. I've been liking doing non-height map texturing a lot more recently just because, I don't know, it's rather chill once you know everything. Okay, I should move this base down a bit. Yeah. So that is closer to this player and this is farther. Anyways. With the given ramps, I have dirt textures to make it look like there's paths within the snow for a reason. In this case, we're going to just take the first dirt texture and just carve out paths. Because this is a facility, so we can make it look like the Terrans here mostly kept paths clear and melted and probably salted so that they can walk on through. Here is, if this was not pathable, this space would be only covered from one direction, which is not exactly that good for Terrans. But actually looking about it, if I just have this not pathable, siege tank here cannot lock it off. That means you can only engage this from one direction, which is a problem. I'll think about it. At any time I can change what I want to do. The perks of map decoration and map making in general is that at any time you can change or tweak an idea. Nothing is permanent. And then we put in the darker dirt in the middle to make it seem like it's less soaked. Or less, it's been exposed for far longer and so it's darker. Or maybe it's technically deeper in the ground that was dug there. And we probably want a smaller brush for the more rough snow that we're going to be using on the edges. Now this is very messy comparatively to my previous maps, but it's not that terrible. Like, I am a very messy terrain artist. A lot of my texturing is often messy in areas. And this is something I generally do a lot. I like stuff messy because it makes it seem natural in cases, even if natural formations might be within order. Like, what I view natural is like messy, dirty, something you would expect from a natural terrain. Messy looks so much better. Yes, I do agree, Sangloon. And I mostly get my messy style from you, because you're just the person who just makes everything messy. And I like it. It looks nice. The layouts are to be desired, but messy looks better when done right. Like, messy is not always better. For example, if you're making like a facility, like for example access facility, if I made that straightforward and not messy, it probably will look better, but that's without height maps, so that's a different story. Alright, let's get the fracture tool out. I see Sangloon uses a lot on his streams, and generally it's handy for doing snow because I can, especially with the Eldest Cargo free height map on the snow, you can just mix it in and make it seem like, yeah, snow is populating here. Actually, let's give it a larger brush. And if you look at the mini map, it doesn't pop up on the mini map, so it looks nice. Like, look at this, and there's going to be blizzard effects everywhere, which is mildly irritating, but it will work for the theme. I never look at the editor minimap. I look at it to see how visible stuff is. If you can see a difference between levels. Like, it's not really that much of a good idea, but you know. Looking at the editor minimap is a general situation of telling design, space, and how visible something is. Not always recommended though. Now let's just make the high ground populated by snow. The minimap is a bit messy there, but it's fine. For the most part, you can see that there's the paths is visible, and it's not really needed to be visible actually. It looks different than the in-game one, that is true, but you get an approximate idea of what it is. We're gonna add in some dirt here, just so this natural geyser makes sense. And these are coming out of the ground due to it popping out. Now you can get stuff to look like this with preferences, because the fun fact about the editor is that even if your computer is really shitty, you can use the editor in the highest settings possible. You don't have to use it on low settings unless you just, well, it's so handy because the editor does not use as many resources as Starcraft 2. Frankly, Starcraft 2 doesn't use a lot of resources, but it uses enough that if you have a terrible computer, you cannot play the game on its stream. But everything has their general idea of how you do stuff. Especially with decoration. Like, if I wanted this to be perfect, I would limit the amount of snow I'm throwing around, but I want this map to look unique compared to my other maps. My other maps, I go for gameplay over aesthetics. And that's what you generally, it depends on how good the map is, but for example, Mnemonic, a map of mine, you can look it up within StarCraft 2. I have it so there's staircases leading into each other. Realistically, that would just be a straight path, but for gameplay, that slows stuff down, which is better for what I want to achieve. Everything follows their own story. And that's what general themes of a map is. What's the story of the place? How did you get there? How did anyone get there? Etc. But it all depends. Like, a lot of my maps is like, you came for their resources, or you came here to fight, or etc. Because I'm straightforward. Like, I don't want to make an elaborate story that is very confusing. I want to make it straightforward. I like straightforward ideas. I'm also the person that really likes fluid aggression, and I've yet to fully achieve that. I mean, on Cyber Forest, my current ladder map, I got the fluid aggression I wanted for the map, which is mobile armies, including mech. I've been seeing battle mech on that map against Zerg, and it's really entertaining. Frankly, it's not the best, but you understand. Like, the Terran win rates is Zerg favored against Terran and Protoss favored against Zerg, which is not ideal, but it's to be done. I was not as good as I am now. Frankly, my decoration has taken a massive turn. I'm still messy, but, well, I'm better. Alright, let's just put this mats and just... Let's use this chance to just fling our cursor around the map to make the snow less rigid, per se. And then let's return this to 19. I use 19. You can use any amount that you want as long as it works. I just use 19 as it is fairly quick. And it works for messy testering that we've achieved very quickly. So doing a quick save, just so if anything goes wrong, which it shouldn't, I don't lose the map. And we get to the phase I like the most, decoration. I really like decoration. Just because it's fun, interesting. I have it on 90%, 90 increment mostly because I'm still used to that since before hype map. Yeah, I understand you using it at such an increment. Like, your decoration is quite impressive. I would try to mimic it, but I'm not that good. Like, I use it as such a different size for main reason. Just because I cannot handle something such large. I've tried using higher increments. It doesn't look good for me, per se. Anyways, I'm gonna be putting 3 blast craters down to get a general idea. Because I'm gonna be using a lot of wrecked structures. And I'll be putting cracks and blast craters probably throughout the mid-ground. Just to make it seem like it's broken. So where's the starter? I'm looking, there's command center. So we just probably want to place these down. Command center, barracks. No. Don't want about it, there's a bunker. And then vehicle. Why not get a nomad in there as well? Jackal? Yeah. Sandbags, certainly. They all have a footprint, but we should not. We're going to be disabling the footprint, so we should not worry about their footprint. I also have it on fast instead of very fast though, since back in the day my CPU couldn't go any faster anyways. Yeah. I just been using very fast for some reason for a long ass time, and I never really stopped. It makes decoration a pain sometimes when it's on very fast. Like when it comes to decoration, I would recommend generally just figuring out what you like most. What's your speed? Like I use very fast all the time, so it's my speed. Slower, heavier hits do better for flanking terrain. Flanky terrain. Yeah, I'm not really good at slow, really. I more make it look like there was a base in operations here, probably throughout the map, that was just utterly decimated. Thinking about that, I want to remove that because that does not fit. Same with that one. This fits a lot more for what I would want to achieve. But like for terrain of design, yeah, like slower flankier hits for the terrain. I generally don't go by such because my design is very questionable. I just do what I know best. No. I'm confused. There's rock, ridges. Oh. Ah! That's what I was looking for in before. Good to know. Cliff, rock, ramp. I'm gonna need to open up Snowy Defeat. It's easier to do generally than just figuring it out. All rock. Good job, me. Yeah, I would never have predicted that. Alright, there we go. We got all the rocks. I like the ridges. They're going to be quite handy to use. Alright, let's get a siege tank back here. No, not something that big. Something smaller. Yeah, that works. We're gonna need trees as well. Now we got heavy snow trees, which are good. We don't want to use many of them because we also want the dead snow trees. In parts. Especially near the damage. So I'm gonna make this look like there was a battle here for some time, but it's just a massive defeat. Like, not, like, the defeat was so bad, it's not like the Terrans even stood a chance. Which happens with a lot of my defeats. Maps are based on battles. Or Terrans are... I just realized. I'm just freaking making the ladder pool again. Okay. Anyways, let's get away from that. Even though it is true that... God damn it. I'm basically making the ladder pool. With a theme. So, now we got the straightforward theme, we can start working on ideas. Make it seem like barracks are trying to fly out, and they were shot out of the air by what? Who knows? Could be anything. The Protoss, Zerg, other Terrans. It's up to your imagination on what caused such a defeat. In reality, I don't even know. Just a snowy defeat. Getting some rocks in always work for what you want. Even if I'm quiet thinking, it's just generally... It's not easy just for me to talk while generally doing stuff. Especially when it comes to natural themes with Terran stuff. I kind of go over the top with the natural part. For example, this is a facility built probably in a rocky area. Which is very likely with the given circumstances of how I'm designing it. I'm making it straightforward, rocky. I'm having the defeat part in like more open areas, and I will make the high ground torn and have scars and whatnot. Just so it looks better for what I want. And I'm probably going to add in moopies in the corners in somewhere where people never look. Really. I don't know, I love moopies. Even if they're infecting like 90 to 1000% of my maps. I know, it's such a high percentage, but it's so true. Like, in most of my maps, there's probably a moopie. And moopies are just a happy little reference to Ewoks from Edeon, and also that I was seen in the Edeon in the Legacy of Void campaign, and also in a sewer system in the Nova Convert Ops. Alright, I should probably have that disabled. It's not so pleasant looking at that. I look at it a lot in decoration just so I see the balance of how much I should decorate, and then I go overkill anyways. I'm the king of making stuff overkill, basically. Well, I'm not the king, there's someone better, but considering the people that I can easily list, I am very good at just making something overkill. And I've been doing it for a long amount of time. I like overkill, especially for natural stuff where I want to make sure it's as foresty as possible. For Terran stuff, it would go like, they probably cut out a fair amount of trees and used the wood as fuel. Probably. But it depends. Like, it could be anything. Especially with how this map came to such defeat. The actual name is not going to be Snowy Defeat. I don't just name a map after a theme. I know I'm going to have a map called Ecosystem Below, though. And that map is going to have a given idea because it's going to be doing my Ecosystem Below theme. And I'm going to be spending a while on that. I'm starting that map Monday. It's probably going to be a team map. I'm not fully sure. No, likely. A 2v2 map. That gives me ideas for a room, and I made enough 1v1 maps as is. So yeah, I'm just going off the border, but I normally just copy and paste once I'm doing the out of bounds decoration. Because it doesn't matter as much. Alright. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's get the Moopies in here. Moopies, the greatest lovable thing within the Starcraft 2 editor. Those are going to be out of place. Well then. I got an idea for that. Ice caves. I always use ice caves on for Moopies generally. It works really well. Alright, let's get back to the Rex. We did enough decoration in corners, but let's focus on other areas. Especially over here. That should work. Okay, and then we can get a command center in here. I like command centers, especially in random areas like this. When it comes to my general design, it gets very questionable when it comes to, like, do I know how to do Terran stuff? Because realistically, this does not make sense. These are, a lot of it is just probably just built like this as like a panic situation. Maybe the command centers were built around this place to mine or to keep note, or maybe they were flying in for forces to fight back the attackers and they got shot out of the air and slammed into the ground like this. Who knows? You can tell any story you want with this map. I'm gonna think of its story in a moment, given notice, but generally when the decoration is fulfilled first. Everything has a story when it comes to map making. You just can't do something and go, oh, I did it because I liked it. I wanted to. Most cases, like, what's the story of that? How did that come to be? I mean, you can't just go, oh, I did this because it looks nice. Like, I have many of those, and that's acceptable. Like, Cyber Forest, I made up a story like, oh, it's just cyberspace just got stuck in a forest. But it's like, if I make it realistically, it didn't have a story. I saw a map called Cyberspace. I'm like, I want to put that in a forest. That's how ideas are made, by the way. You look at what another do, and if you like it, you can do it yourself or do a twist on it. That's how unique characters are made. That's how any character is really made nowadays. There's nothing that unique that another person did not do. But there is unique ideas that one person thought of their own, and then other people copied off of that or learned from it, etc. Everything has their effects. Alright, we need more rocks. A lot more rocks. We don't have enough rocks. And general design is this. This is like a guide to how I generally do design. It's not like this is how you decorate or whatnot. If you want to know how to decorate, the easiest thing I'll have to say is learn it yourself. Friend dared me to make a free player Wargroove map. I'm not going to be doing that probably lately. I don't know. Once I probably complete the Wargroove campaign, I'll probably start map making. I love map making. When I started map making, the one curse about it is that I just get pissed off when stuff are imbalanced or favored towards one player. In map design, unless it's a 2v1, you should never favor a player. Unless that player has a disadvantage at their side. For example, yesterday I was playing Wargroove with friends, and we played on a free player map where player 1 had more bases, a higher economy. It was a 1v1v1. Had higher economy, more production than us. They started with 2 barracks. The second spire was easy for them to take compared to us, where we had to actually put an effort to take our second spire. And everything was favored towards player 1. Now I'm going to talk about this. When it comes to map decoration, you also have to keep in mind that you have to make sure that your decoration does not, for say, obscure something or favors a player for abusing it. For example, if you want to, you can have a high ground pod with a Zelnaga tower on it. Or just a high ground pod that is one ramp leading into it. Thing is, I'll favor a Terran in general stances, especially if you put it in the right spot. Because a Terran will be able to put a siege tank up there. And when the siege tank is up there, you can't do anything about it. It's up there. It will show into your units unless you engage it from one position or have an air unit to see that high ground. And when it comes to other games of map making, you have to think about, okay, does this favor X player due to the advantages. For example, in turn-based games, you don't want to give player 1 an advantage in economy. Player 1 already technically starts with advantage in economy because they can do everything first. Like, if player, like, the same thing, you should not really give player 2 a second unit unless it balances the map. Like, if player 1 gets economy first, and player 2 and 3 starts with 1 extra unit. So that they can, in theory, challenge you. But if one player just has a clear advantage for the game, it's unfair. In the stances of, like, I love the map, how it looked. It looked beautiful. I like the design. Until I noticed that on turn 4 to 5, I was attacked by both a golem and a dragon. And I had nothing to do it. And there was Fog of War in action. In turn-based games, I hate Fog of War because I like to be able to see what the opponent's doing in a turn-based game and go, alright, I need to build this to counter. If I saw he was making a dragon, I would have saved up for a ballista. Easy. In fact, I made a Wraith to prepare for a dragon, but the dragon came out far sooner than that Wraith was made. What can I do about it? I had surrender. I lost. Because there was a dragon right on top of me and I have no units to counter it. It's general stuff like that. It's really unfair when a map has an advantage. And I'm going to just go into design where you should not favor a race unless it's absolutely necessary. When it comes to making StarCraft 2 maps, I'll make this clear. Terrans are often kicked in the gut for actually good designed maps. It's been like that for a while. Like Cyber Forest, I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, this map will be like slightly Terran favored due to bio movement. Looking at stats now, it's not. And I made sure my decoration was as far away from visible eyes as possible so it's not in the way. Everything has their factors that come in and out. Like, who would have guessed that Cyber Forest is slightly toss favored against Zerg? Well, not slightly, it's most certainly toss favored against Zerg. It is very much Zerg favored against Terran. I can't guess that. Especially when at the time I was a more newer mapmaker. TLMC 11 was my second TLMC ever. And that decoration, I will not pull it up, but if you want to do like cybernetics, but within an organic map, I'm probably the best person for that. I've been spending a while mastering that deco style. And Cyber Force is a good example of it's cybernetic but organic. Not how I originally, not the first thing organic. I screwed up there. It is natural but also mechanical. But a simple tip is that you want the mid ground to be differently textured than the low ground. That is a must-have when it comes to decoration. If it looks good, yes, you can have multiple levels be the same texture, but for visibility's sake, it's not exactly that good. Because you may think, oh yeah, this is all, so a lot of this is on the low ground? Huh. But in reality, it isn't, and that's not good. Huh. Let's get small rocks in here. That is not a small rock. Okay, we got that dealt with. And we haven't disabled the pathing of all doodads so we can paint in our own pathing. Because painting in your own pathing is rather important when it comes to decoration. Just because doodads are often terrible for pathing. And I say that solely. I've been decorating and making maps for a while now. Almost 2 years, in fact. Man, it's been that long. My decoration certainly has improved over the years, and especially my layout work, but you know. Can't just endlessly pat myself on my back. Like, woohoo, I made a ladder map. In the end, I made a ladder map where other map makers have multiple. And all I can do is be their successor. Alright, so it seems like we got most areas decorated besides these high ground pods. The high ground pods, I don't really know what I'm going to do with them, so I'm just gonna be lazy and put a lab weapons thing there. I normally use the lab weapons thing when I'm lazy and I just want something there. It looks nice, but also really odd. And then using the dynamic pathing fill tool, you can just fill them in. You can't just place it on low ground because it'll fill everything in, but you can place it on the edge of cliffs to make the cliffing unpathable for Reapers or Colossuses, which is super handy for scenarios like this. Like here, I could do like this and just add and make it so it's unpathable, but in this stance I can't do that. Reapers should be able to path there. But not over here. Or over here on this. You know, you get the story. You could just go around and just place these carefully. And not like that. To make sure that Reapers can't jump up and down. It's really handy for making sure you did your cliffing correctly. And it's easier to do that than painted pathing literally everywhere. Now we got the joy of selecting every doodad we have. Actually, first, before we select every doodad we have, we should probably get traders in. And for fun, we will also use them as building placement markers on the midground. Because why not? We did not use the jackal in the end, but that's fine. We don't have to use every doodad we selected. And when it comes to design, you just decide what you want to use. That's strange. For some reason, something was not there. Symmetry is weird sometimes. It's its own. It has a mind of its own sometimes, and I will say that gladly. Now, when you're doing your layouts, especially for decoration, you need to make sure the cannon rushes aren't an issue. And you need to remember your unbuildable plates, bricks, or rocks, because those are also important. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that is cannon rush proof for the hell's sake. Like over here, this could have been a cannon rush spot, but it isn't. But for hell's sake, we're just gonna place this plate here because we don't need to worry about cannon rushes, and we can remove these. The evolution chamber wall. You generally make an evolution chamber wall so Zergs can wall on creep. You can make a standard Protoss wall there as well, which is good. But you have it so Zergs can wall off on creep for ZVZ. And this is important for decoration so you don't screw that up. And also, I skipped out on this area. I'm glad I went in to fill in the mid-ground with stuff. There we go, that should be enough. We need more trees. Map making is like a tree placing simulator, some would say, depending on your theme. I also make the joke, especially on my streams, that welcome to tree placing simulator. It depends on what you like. Like, I made Eternal Warfare, which is not really a good map on the layout, and this theme was literally called Impossible Growth. I called the theme Impossible Growth for one reason. There's grass growing on metallic plates in a volcanic area. Impossible growth. For logical means. But the map, I mean, I'm gonna probably remake the map because I want that theme to go somewhere. I say probably, but I'm not fully certain. The map was not that good, anyways. It depends, really. Everything has their idea in the end. Just played music. I don't know why the music just stopped. That's mildly irritating. Don't stop the music. Alright. We're nearing the end of the trees. And that means we can remove footprint and start filling it in our own. And then we'll do something quick where we just copy and just paste everywhere. Alright. From the very top to the very bottom. Just select. We have a total of 1,268 doodads. Not bad. I had worse. Alright, we go to pathing. You can't see this, but good to know. And suddenly, the magic's fulfilled and the whole map has been cured. And you could quickly go around placing this in areas that obviously look like it's not connected to anything. Doing that is quite handy for just filling and pathing, so you don't really have to worry about it anywhere. I can't place it there. Otherwise, that would be a problem. That's the only thing pathable. So we get the joy of using the brush tool, which is not a fun tool to use. Because it's not exactly that intelligent. I mean, it's intelligent in its own ways, I would say. it doesn't do what you want it to do sometimes. So you have to be very careful with it. But that's all depending. And I've been doing this for an hour, and decoration is, you could do decoration super quickly, but in a stance, you probably shouldn't. Like, this is going to be a stream VOD. Well, it's on YouTube, so hello. I'm going to be putting it on YouTube anyways. But I'm going to be putting the stream VOD, and obviously there's going to be a warning of, hey, it's 1 hour long. Or more. But yeah, this is general decoration. And we're just doing the pathing, which is what you do after decoration or during it. I don't know, some map makers do the pathing like before decoration, which is also a good idea. I used to do that. It's just, if you do the pathing afterwards, you can use the deco to mark out how the pathing you want, and it works effectively as new. So after everything, I'm gonna be most likely just, well, putting up the name and title of the map, but not on stream most likely. Or anywhere. The map is gonna, I know what the map is gonna be called. The name is literally, the name I'm going for is Frozen Vanguard. Or a Frozen Loss. I have something in mind. What it is, I will not say, because I'm not sure it's gonna work not gonna work how I want it to, most certainly. You have to keep a small distance around the Vespene guys when you're doing decoration, because otherwise workers can't really do anything. Mainly SCVs. The Vespene geyser will not be able to be built at all. In a nutshell. So you just gotta make sure it can be built. And then using Shift D, you can enable and disable doodads, which is really handy in for filling and pathing. Using that to your advantage, you can quickly just fill in pathing without trying to look for what's green if you have the pathing grid on. Because using the building grid for pathing is a real bad idea. Because you leave in so many gaps. Okay. That's like that on both sides, right? Yes, good. worried because that seemed out of place for me, even though I had it like that for a while and I never noticed. This is going to be very quick. We only have to finish these areas and then the map deco is completed. Besides, well, these pods. So let's just use a larger brush to make this go on faster. A larger brush is not that easy to wield, but once you get the outline completed, it's perfectly fine to use. Just because you're not going to be making awkward areas on the edges. Alright, that's that done. Very quick and easy. Now we have these smaller rocks here because even though on this side it might seem, oh yeah, that's fine, but on the other side, widow mines can be obscured by the trees, so we need to make sure they can't, for say. Because we don't want units to be hidden just by trees. Like, widow mines can hide behind a Vespine geyser, but in a stance out on the map, widow mines and banelings hiding behind a tree, if you don't have health bars enabled to see the banelings, you might lose your bile just by walking past a tree, which is not ideal. But anyways, this is everything. We got the general outside deco, and for just lazy, quick filling of the border, you just copy something, rotate it, paste, and get the other copy, paste. Probably would want to delete the blast craters that you've copied by mistake. Take both of those. Who knows it did not paste on the bottom side because the editor is dumb. Delete all those, which will lag the editor. The editor cannot process you deleting a shit ton of stuff. Some gaps to make it seem like a forest, and sometimes the editor just refuses to let go, which is annoying. It's just a lot of copying and pasting, really, and shifting stuff around. But once you do enough of it, you get a border art that works, basically. The editor is magical sometime going, oh, no, I can't do that, even though I very clearly can. But that's clearly out of bounds. It annoys me. But that's something you have to get used to when it comes to editor. But this is just basic melee decoration for the theme I'm going for. Like when I do speed decoration or in the stances of one map, just a straightforward, when you just see my decoration, I make it look like I make my choices a lot quicker, but I actually think about a few of them beforehand. Actually, not a few of them, most of them. A lot of times I already probably made a theme of them, so I already know what I'm going for. But anyways, we got a map. And so, this is where I'm just gonna hit the end. My name is Pklixian. Thank you for watching, and thank you for those who came and gone. As I said, my name is Pklixian. I'll see you guys next time. See ya next time.